what's up you guys? My name is Wolf, and welcome back to another episode of LEGO Arts. So, in the last episode we did the Crisis of Infinite Earths, featuring a new Green Arrow minifigure, as well as a Flash minifigure, and a Supergirl minifigure, and guest starring our Batwoman minifigure. So this time is kind of a part 2 of that, but I'm not really going to call it that, because this time we are doing a solo minifigure, this time featuring Black Canary in her new outfit from Season 8 of Arrow. So this is a figure that I've been wanting to do for a little while now, and I think was one of the hardest out of the Crisis of Infinite Earths to do. Mainly because there wasn't a whole lot of good screenshots and good angles of the whole suit in general. So finding good references for this minifigure turned out to be a bit of a challenge. Especially of getting the back as well as the legs and a bit of the arms. But when I finally managed to get a good idea of what I was working with, I get away with a few photos as well as some small clips from Arrow, I managed to piece them together to form the minifigure we see now. And I gotta say, this actually turned out pretty good. The legs kind of come out a little bit better, but aside from that, this whole figure in general, turned out pretty nice. So I'm really glad how it came out. So, as you guys know the whole drill, we're going to take this minifigure, do a review in it, explain my process, why I went with this route, and then go from there. So, without further ado, let's get the pedestal out and get this showcase on the road. Okay, so to begin on this figure, we're going to first get the one con out of the way, and that is the legs. The legs did not come out correctly. A little bit worse than how the Supergirl legs came out. And I think it was mainly because I had the legs disconnected from each other. Because that's how I do minifigures, that I divide up the pieces together, so that way it's easier to paint, nothing is overlapping with each other. However, when doing detailing stuff like this, my brain doesn't have a general idea of how to line it all up perfectly, so it's not exactly I guess as Death the Kid would say, perfectly symmetrical, so, but unlike him, it's not too big of a deal. It could have come out better, but just with a simple fix of black paint, and then redetailing it, and it should come out pretty well. The sides of the legs, hang on, let's move her arms. Like with some of the other minifigures we've done, there's articulation in it. And you can see of where I did a little sanding of the waist piece. So there's articulation in the legs. It's also mainly because since this is mainly hand painted, it doesn't peel back too much, and so you can see that the legs kind of match up with each other on the sides, and I made sure, okay, it didn't fully wind up to the back, okay, but aside from that, the figure itself in general actually turned out pretty nice. So we'll lower the arms back down. So while we're on the back, as you can see, the detailing on the back, there's some detailing on the back. This one was a little harder to do, of getting a good angle of the suit, but when I managed to find a good screenshot of what the jacket itself looks like, I was able to take that idea and interpret it into a minifigure for decal base. So you can see some of the yellow detailing I put on here. You probably can't see it because of the lines are so thin of how the printing came out, but you can see of where I did some of the detailing on the pads. And these towards the waist, these were originally a light gray, but I changed that to sort of a dark gray, so that way the colors would match up with each other, and there's not too much inconsistency. On the arms, both of the arms are completely hand painted, so you can see of where I did some of the little straps, as well as the yellow lining, the detailing. All of this is pretty much done in acrylic markers. The markers are definitely much easier to do some of that smaller detailing. I'm still having problems with the gold, but since this minifigure doesn't have any gold, it's fine. She's also wielding the same knight, like the tonfa that I used for the previous Black Canary minifigure, because it's the same idea of having two separate suits, but still being with the same character. Henceforth, of the same headpiece from the previous Black Canary minifigure from the knockoff I got. And on the front, as you can see, some more detailing on the front, also decal base. I used the same techniques techniques that I did for my other Infinite Earths minifigures on doing one side of it, then putting that through, like, photo magic, flipping it around and around, readjusting it, and lining it up to make it look like it was all done in one piece. I think this might be a technique that I might do for other decals in the future, like, depending on how the outfits themselves look. But all in all, it came out pretty nice. Very nice. The hairpiece, this is actually, I think, the first modified hairpiece that I've done without having to repaint it. So you can clearly see if, like, where I did some sanding. I did, like, some sanding on the hairpiece, but this was originally like a hairpiece that I got from a knockoff Black Widow minifigure. I already used the head for the Black Widow for Endgame, but I still kept the hairpiece around because I always like to keep pieces around in case I come across a figure that has something like this. And when looking at this, and when, like, looking at like some of the photos of Black Canary, and when seeing, like, now that she has short hair, I kept trying to debate of, like, how would I approach this? And how would I approach, like, sort of like her hairstyle that she went with. So, what I did was I took this same hairpiece. I then used a different sanding tool, like an actual sander, instead of the one that I usually use. But this one was very powerful, like enough to where I had to lower it down to the lowest level of power, so that way the hairpiece doesn't go, like, flying, or if I gave it too much of a haircut, it would become messed up even more. So I used two different settings. I did, like, a regular sander, and to, like, get rid of the tips that rotate around the hairpiece. So I got rid of those, and then I went back with a cutter and continued on, like, those hairlines that were already in the hairpiece to sort of, like, show that, like, the hair, like, continues on down to the hair, and down through, like, the original hair, almost as if this was an actual hairpiece. The one flaw with this is that I wished this was sort of mirrored. Like, we know that, like, we've seen that in LEGO games, they have it for where it's a regular hairpiece, but sometimes it's reversed, so in, like, a different angle. I kind of wish that this one was a case with this, because I noticed that there's, like, more hair towards more on the right side than there is on the left. So, in order to make it more accurate, I guess a good idea to make it more accurate, like it is on the show, would be using the same hairpiece that I used for my 13th Doctor minifigure, because it matches up a little bit more. But aside from that, I'm pretty glad of how this hairpiece came out, because this was something like a new approach, tinkering around with, like, new stuff, and of how it came out as the final result, especially since I didn't need to repaint it, and it was a little bonus. So, all in all, I'd say this came out pretty nice. And this was actually much better than what I did with the last time I did a Black Canary minifigure, with, from the B-Team Arrow. I believed I actually used the same, like, minifigure body I had for that figure. But since I had already destroyed, like, well, not necessarily destroyed, we like to call it sacrificing, but since that that minifigure was gone, I didn't care about it anymore. I still wanted to, I kept the outfit around because I figured that, like, maybe I could use it for like, maybe some animation stuff, but I haven't really gotten around to that, so the figure pretty much just stayed on a shelf, and then when I was working on this, I was like, you know what, fuck it, let's just go ahead, use that minifigure, we're not gonna remake that minifigure, we're gonna improve it, and make it much better. So all in all, this figure came out pretty well. And I'm pretty satisfied of the final result. So, let's go ahead and wrap this showcase up and begin talking more about some stuff for the future. Well, that does it for this episode of LEGO Arts. I hope you guys enjoyed this showcase. Okay, and this might be one of the last CW showcases that I will do. And because, like as I mentioned in the last episode, every time I, like, get ideas to do, like, these characters, and eventually I don't get around to them, but then when I do, it comes to a point where they're either killed off, they leave the show, or just general interest, and that happens a lot. But since they gave an update to Black Canary, as well as Green Arrow, Flash, and Supergirl, I figured that, like, you know what, how about we do one more showcase at least? So, this might be the last Black Canary minifigure that I'll do for a while, like, if some new stuff comes in, in comic book wise, then I might get back to it. Same thing with Green Arrow. But all in all, this pretty much puts a closing to that. But it was still fun making this character. And I'm pretty proud of how this came out. Again, the legs could have been a little bit better, but aside from that, the whole figure was pretty fun to make. So, talking about for some stuff in the future, I'm going to squeeze in one more showcase for this year, and that is mainly because on the 18th, all the way to the 23rd, I'm going on vacation, so I won't be uploading any videos during that point, and since Christmas will be right around the corner by then, the latest that I'll be able to upload any video, regardless if it's gameplay or showcase, or just maybe a vlog almost, talking about the adventure, it will be like the 26th or the 27th, depending on how well that will go. But just to give you guys a clarification that, like, is he dead? I'm not dead. I'm just going on holiday. Which I hope you guys will enjoy your holidays this year. Regardless of what they are, I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, as well as a good New Year. And talking about with that showcase, I just finished one of the figures today. I need to finalize detailing on another figure, then do base coloring for the last figure, and then as soon as I get that done, my aim is to do that before I go on holiday. So as soon as I get those done, I'll upload the showcase to you guys, and then go from there. But anywho, if you guys would like to see more videos like this in the future, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. It really helps us. We're gonna let's play Lego projects, or mainly to have some fun. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, hit that like button, comment below which stick, share it to your friends, subscribe to YouTube, follow me on Twitch. And here's the half of the road. Ow! Woo! Thank you guys, and I'll see you next time. What a nice moon rises!